Yo, what's up and what's good to all my amazing and beautiful friends, subscribers, and folks clicking on this video right now. It's your boy, Adam P, and welcome to the Adam Petway Show. Listen, if this is your first time tuning in to the channel, I want to say thank you. Look, you're going to be in for a big surprise, so stick around and see what we got going on. If you are a return viewer, look, thank you for your love and support. I greatly appreciate it. Look, it's what you guys do that gives me the strength, the opportunity to do what I do. So before I jump in, listen, if you wouldn't mind, give your boy a thumbs up. If you want to wait until the end of the video, yeah, you can do that too. But hey, just give me a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, while you're here on the channel, you might as well, subscribe, if you want to. Finesse the bell, click the bell, and turn on post notifications. Look, that's the most important thing. If you subscribe to the channel, that's great. You've already done so much if you just did that. But if you want to be notified of when I drop my stuff, and you want to be in the loop because I got some exciting stuff coming up, turn on post notifications. That way you're notified of when I drop these fire videos. Okay? So look, we got that out of the way. That's the hard part. So sit back, relax, grab some snacks, and listen. We are going to be talking about, drum roll please, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Book 1, Water. So, that is the first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender. So, with its recent popularity and this upsurge of people watching Avatar, I decided to hop back on the train. I'm one of those people who's watched Avatar a couple of times. I watched it when it first came out, and like maybe 2 times after that. I haven't watched it a whole bunch, but enough to get like a very good general understanding of the concept of it. But because of its recent surge, I decided to watch it again. And what I will say is that this time watching it, I had such a greater understanding of the storyline and like the life lessons that they were teaching through the show that it really made me consider Avatar: The Last Airbender one of the greatest shows / cartoons I've ever seen. And I'm really big into anime, which that's my favorite category of stuff to watch. But I would put Avatar up there at the higher echelon of shows, whether that's live action or cartoon or anime. I would definitely put it up there. And in this video, I just wanted to talk about Book 1. I'm going to drop other videos of the different books each season. I want to talk about some character development. And if that's something you want to see, comment below. Who would you like me to do a character analysis on? I was thinking about doing one on Sokka, who's my favorite character in Avatar, but we'll talk about that at another time. Zuko. And I also binge watch Legend of Korra too. So that's something I also wanted to talk about. But today we are talking about Book 1, Water, which consists of 20 episodes. And in those episodes, we learn a lot. And what I will say is I did a little research on what makes a TV show great. And they had like these 6 steps of like what makes a show incredible, what makes it good, right? And I think Avatar: Last Airbender kind of blows all that out of the water. And I'll start off with this. It's really digestible. Whether you're a really young kid or whether you're a teenager, I'm in the millennial group, so a millennial, whether you're older, it's always something new for you to understand. Like I've seen little kids go crazy for it. I've seen adults my age and older have like intellectual debates on, different subject matters in episodes, which I think is really beautiful because it opens up the community to have like really great conversation. And that's kind of why I wanted to do this, to have a conversation with you guys. But what I will say is it's easy to digest. You have the opening. And I know that's a lot of things people, and a big trope in like anime is that the openings always kind of give some stuff away. With Avatar, it's just there in your face. Is this young kid, he's the Avatar. When the world needed him most, he vanished. What happened? 100 years later, they find him in the iceberg. And then it's his job to save the world. From what? What does he have to do? Those are some questions that you ask yourself. But once you get into the story, it's quick to show you, okay, well, he's the Avatar. What's the job of the Avatar? Master all 4 elements: earth, wind, water, fire, and mastering all of that to bring peace to the world is the Avatar's job. Okay? So it's pretty cut and dry. Like, this is what he has to do. And then you have your central cast around him. So you have Aang, which is the Avatar, and then you have Sokka, Katara, who are the other main characters. And then you have Toph, who's added in. For those of you who haven't watched Avatar, I'm gonna try to keep it as spoiler free, but come on. How have you not watched Avatar The Last Airbender, right? But if you haven't, I'm gonna try not to spoil anything, but continue to watch that. I'm only gonna be discussing season 1. But listen, you have your tight-knit cast of characters, right? Super relatable. You have Sokka and Katara that come from a water tribe who lost their mother. They're trying to keep it afloat, and Katara wants to be a waterbending master. Like, she wants to learn waterbending. Then they find Aang, and it creates like this wavelength of, this timeline that the kids go down that would not have happened if they hadn't met each other. Like, it shows how meeting certain people put you down a certain path that you're destined for, right? But it's easy to digest. Another thing that I really appreciated, besides the characters being really relatable, the episodes, are filled with these life lessons. Each episode you take something away from it. Yes, it has really good action. Yeah, it has really good music. Yeah, it has the animation is great, but you really do take away something from each episode. And what I really enjoy is that there are episodes where there's minimal fighting, but even those episodes where there's not a lot of fighting, there's so much to be learned. Like the episode The Great Divide, where they had to help the 2 earthbending tribes cross these dangerous caverns. Caverns? It's got to be caverns. To get to Omashu. Or episodes where Katara and Sokka are sick, and Aang has to go get them frozen frogs to suck on. It's episodes like that aren't initially super heavy in fighting, but the what's the word I'm looking for? I am having such a mind fart right now, but the overall story of it was really relatable. It doesn't have to be just action all the time. You love it and you respect the episodes that don't have all of that, because it's bigger. It's bigger than just fighting. Now, there's some shows that's just all fighting, which is cool because that's just how those shows are. But I believe the thing about Avatar is that it shows more than just that. You have your earthly attachments. You have episodes where, you have love, you have loss, you have finding yourself, you have understanding your worth, you have episodes where you have to put aside your differences, you got to forgive. One of the biggest ones is Katara, and pretty much Katara has to forgive the man who killed her mother. And that episode is not in season 1, so that's just one of the little spoilers I'm gonna throw out if you haven't watched it, but there's an episode where she comes face to face with the man who killed her mother, and she forgives him. That's all I'm gonna say. But in that episode, you really can feel the pain, and you can relate to it somehow. For those of you who have lost a parent, for those of you who haven't, the power of forgiveness, because she didn't have to forgive, but she did. And that's one of the beautiful things. That episode wasn't super fighty, and it wasn't super it had a lot of it was high paced, but it had a really central focus, which I think was really, really beautiful. But through that, you have your villains. So you have Zuko, who is the first main bad guy that you see, and then go a little bit into Zuko's backstory, where he's chasing the Avatar to restore his honor. You know, in a lot of shows, you have a villain who comes through who doesn't really have motivation. Like, they're just evil for the sake of being evil, or they're just like, their ideas, well, I'm gonna destroy everybody, or I'm gonna destroy the world. You know, Zuko's ambition is really grounded in real human emotion. Like, I'm sure, you know, he lost his honor, and the only thing that'll get it back is capturing the Avatar and making his father proud of him. I'm sure a lot of us can relate to, like, wanting our parents to be proud of us, and some of us, you know, not myself, but some of us have parents who are like the Fire Lord, who are mean and, you know, hateful and resentful, but you feel, even with all of those horrible character traits, you still feel like you want to make them proud. And that's kind of where Zuko is, where he's caught up, where he feels like the only way he can get his father's love is to get the Avatar back, which is not even the case, you know, but we'll talk about that in another time. But you get Zuko, right? And at first he comes off as this hothead, you know, he doesn't listen to his Uncle Iroh. Shout out, probably my top 3 favorite characters of the show. But but even in season 1, you start to see this character change in him, which is really beautiful, because he starts to grow, and you see through the other seasons he becomes the man that he needs to be. But it's in season 1 that you kind of start seeing the really small seeds being planted in Zuko. So you have him as the first main bad guy. Then second, you have Admiral Zhao, right? With the sideburns, with the Wolverine sideburns, you got Admiral Zhao. And he's kind of like the step up from Zuko, where he has a little bit more power. He controls more people. You know, he's a little bit more ruthless than Zuko, because he's willing to just kill the Avatar and do some of the stuff that Zuko isn't really willing to do. But at the same time, Zuko is a kid. Then that's one of the relatable things about that, is that all those characters are teenagers. So pretty much, besides Aang, I think he's 12 when he comes out of the iceberg. But you know, they go through this process, and then you have Admiral Zhao, right? And having to do my research, I broke down pretty much every episode, and you know, you go through, and it's 20 episodes, but each episode in itself is full of different meanings and life lessons. And you know, obviously it would take forever if I went through all 20, but I think one of the things that I've noticed, and I think this is what made the show so incredible, was that you had different directors and writers for each episode. So you had a different spin on it, where you had maybe like a man working on one episode, you had a woman and a man working on another episode, or just strictly 2 women, or just, you know. And I think what that did was it gave each episode a different spin on things, because it's always important to have different viewpoints. I think that's what makes a show beautiful, is when you have that representation, you know, because how, you know, as a man, if I was directing a movie, you know, I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I can only go off what I've seen women go through. But you would want a woman by your side, or someone to tell you, like, hey, this is not how women behave on a day, like when they're at home alone, you know, this is what they actually do, or, you know, just different representation, which really, really matters in shows. You know, we're starting to see that more and more representation with people of color, LGBTQ plus community, just all, and I love it. I love to see it. But we go through these different episodes, and some that really stand out is you see the Southern Air Temple. That's when Aang, I believe, that's when he goes into the Avatar state, when he finds out that his whole tribe had been wiped out. You know, so that's a very emotional episode, because you see this kid who doesn't know the repercussions of what's happened from him leaving. And he finds out that these people have, like, pretty much murdered his tribe, you know. So that's a hard pill to swallow. And then you have more lighter episodes, like the King of Omashu. That's when he meets his old friend Bumi, who got to be old as I don't know what now, because I think about it, he was friends with Bumi when he was a kid. So yeah, Bumi has to at least be 112 years old. All right, we are back. I had some technical difficulties. The camera died. Look, they trying to cut us off and silence us, but we won't be silenced, people. But I'm trying to remember where I left off right before the battery died. But and hopefully I hit this on the mark. I was talking about the king of Omash, Boomy. Yeah. So Boomy has to be old, bro, because he was friends with Aang when he was a little kid. So that was like, they probably were relatively around the same age. So he had to be like at least over 100 years old, which is crazy. So we go from there to different episodes. You got your winter solstice episode, which is really good. That introduces us to the spirit world, which in itself kind of creates a whole different thing. That's when he's able to connect with his past lives, which is really, really good. Jet, which I'm not gonna go over every episode, but I just want to talk about something that really stuck out to me. Jet was a really beautiful one because it obviously talks about this young gentleman named Jet and how he lost his family to firebenders, and it kind of creates this. This is when you're faced with two sides of the same coin. You have Jet, who's lost his family to firebenders, and Katara, who's lost her family member to firebenders as well. And they have this clash of ideals where Jet is kind of like a Robin Hood type character. He steals from the rich, gives to the poor, right? But he doesn't mind physically hurting other people, whether they're women, old people. I really, I'm not gonna trash Jet because I don't think he does beat up on women, but I think if they were Fire Nation, he probably would. But they have conflicting ideas, even though they kind of feel the same way. And with the Jet situation, he was going to blow up this dam that would flood this Fire Nation village, I believe, if I'm correct, and it would kill a lot of people. But Jet didn't care because he had this vision that all Fire Nation were evil people because of what they had done. Sounds like a group of people that we have out now. I'm not going to say no names, but it just sounds like, some people. But, that all Fire Nation are bad people, and, just that's not the case, but that's what the Fire Nation had created through their lack of empathy and coming and just pretty much destroying and killing and pillaging everywhere, so Jet had this view. But I mean, obviously in any situation you have people that aren't bad, you have people that don't mean harm, but it's it's like you've shown how you are, and then it's like, how could I trust that you won't be bad when you have the majority of you are, so that kind of goes into like a lot of social commentary. Like, we have this situation with police brutality, the things that people are marching for, Black Lives Matter, and how there's no justice, no peace. I'm not gonna go on a tangent on that because it's a whole thing, but we definitely need to see reform. We definitely need to see things change because people are being hunted down in the streets. People are being killed for things that should not have happened. People shouldn't be murdered, even if they, whether they're innocent or guilty. It's. But look, I digress. That's something I talk about on my own. So, we can talk about that too if that's something y'all like. But just know, no justice, no peace. But back to regular scheduled programming, right? So we get into these episodes, and it's slowly, like, each episode starts to really lead us onto this different path. And it's called Book 1 Water because that's what he starts to really train in. He starts to try to master water bending. And I know this video is gonna get kind of long. It's getting kind of long, so I'm gonna try to wrap it up for now because I want to keep you guys interested. But as these episodes progress, you get to grow with those characters. Mentally you grow through with them. Emotionally you grow through their struggles. You get to see their mistakes. You see when Aang, one of the episodes that really touched me was when Aang hid the letter that they had sent to Sokka and Katara about their dad, and he hid that because he didn't want to lose them. He didn't want to lose them as friends, but at the same time, he essentially hid their father wanted to meet them, and then that created like a whole shift, rift in between them. So it creates like this, this situation where, they're like, well, fine, we're just gonna leave, and we're gonna leave you, and then it really, but you grow and you learn from their mistakes as well. So I think that that's one of the beautiful things. And then you come to the last 2 episodes, which are by far one of the most like visually stunning, because you see a whole lot. You see, I believe that's when he meets the face stealer dude as well. And I could be wrong, but the guy who stole people's faces. Yes, yeah, that was creepy. When he's the centipede dude that could take people's faces, but it's called the Siege of the North, right? And this is where you see Sokka find his first love, and Yue, Princess Yue, yeah. And visually, you see a lot of great fights. You see the spiritual awareness. You see water bending at its finest. And one of the biggest things that I love about it is they go in expecting Aang and Katara to get trained in water bending. Then you find out that the water bending master, Paku, I think his name is, but he pretty much in their society, women can't do air bending. They can't do water bending. Pretty sexist. They normally are put over into the area of like healing, which is a great space to be in too, because that's one of the beautiful things about waterbending is that its ability to heal people. But they didn't have women pretty much on the front lines fighting. A lot of social commentary there, right? And he said that he would never train her. So he was in his way pretty sexist. He wasn't opening his mind up to anything until they started fighting, until Katara challenged him. And granted, she's not a waterbending master, but she did pretty well on her own against a waterbending master like Paku. Now granted, he might not have been going as hard. That's debatable on that, but it was the fact that Katara stood up for what she believed, and she didn't take no crap from nobody. And that's, you can only appreciate that from Katara, trying to change the stigma that they had in the waterbending community. Especially they were in the northern water tribe, so that's like the bigger tribe of the water tribe people. So you see that. So you see like this shift in mindset, right? So not only do you have this gentleman's mindset being changed, but then you also have this legion of firebenders coming to pretty much take siege over the northern, why do I keep want to call it the Northern Air Temple, the Northern Water Tribe, and destroy the Avatar, right? So then you have Zuko, who by this time is still slowly progressing, but he is trying to figure out how to capture the Avatar, how to do this, how to do that. But it all culminates into a lot of self-sacrifice. So you have Princess Yue doing what's best for the good of the people, because she could be selfish and not transform into the moon spirit, but it was for the betterment of her people. So through that, she had to let her attachments go. She had to become the moon spirit. She had to become. They make a lot of memes about that. Ooh, that's tough, buddy. But they make these memes, and it's just a lot of, so even just season 1 has so much social commentary and so much beauty that you can learn from, and every season past that stacks on that. And I'm so excited about book 2, because if I'm right, I think that's when we are introduced to Toph, and I'm like super excited to talk about Toph and what she kind of brings to the team dynamic of everything. But listen, you guys, I could really go on and on about season 1. I just don't want to hold you guys all day and all night. But look, thank you guys for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys for the love and support. I'm gonna continue to keep doing what I'm doing. Look, that's how I feel. Listen, Black Lives Matter. At the end of the day, I want to do this. I want to support. I want to talk about anime, and I want to do all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, it's Black Lives Matter, man. We really need to take a look at what's going on in our world and in our society. There's change happening, and the change will happen, and we're gonna make it happen. But I say all that to say, if you love what I do, Look, subscribe to the channel. If you want more of this, let me know, because I'm working on book 2 right now to get out to you guys, and then after that, you know, book 3 obviously, and then we'll talk about some character development. But if you want to see anything specific, comment below, let me know. I'm free to talk about whatever, whenever, however. But look, thank you guys for the love and support. I know I say that a lot, but I really appreciate it. Look, continue to be blessed. Work hard, work hard, grind hard, make your dreams come true. Just do it. But look, peace. I love you guys, and I will see you guys soon.